Israel, how y'all doing? Man, shoot. All praise, I get to see y'all at the Feast of Simon. A righteous feast, right? One that was set up by our forefathers. No Easter, no Christmas, no bootleg holidays, right? Let's get into this one, though. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 13. I'm on verse 51 and 52.
First Maccabees 13, verse 51. And entered into it the 23rd day of the second month.
So we are in the second month, the 20 what day?
22nd month. And entered into it the 23rd day of the second month.
So it's the 23rd day of the second month, right? Well, go ahead.
In the 701st year, with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, and with harps and cymbals, and with viols, and hymns and songs, because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel.
So you see, the children of Israel, we celebrated when our forefathers went to war and fought and destroyed their enemies. You see all the instruments they had? We don't have no instruments in here as far as physical instruments, but y'all got your hands, y'all can clap, y'all can sing, y'all can praise the Lord, because this was a victorious victory over our enemies. Israel was taken back during this time, but go ahead.
He ordained also that that day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was.
So if they kept it with gladness, should we see any sad faces in here? Nah, everybody should be happy. Especially you should be happy because they burned this book up. They destroyed it. They tried to destroy the children of Israel. Now we read the victories that our forefathers get. So there should be no sad faces in here no matter what you're going through. Brush that off. They're like little Boosie. Brush me off. Yeah, wipe me down. One of them, you got it though. You know what I'm talking about. But shoot, man, brush that off, bro. Like, seriously. Because guess who's going to have this same power and have to do the same thing? Whether you praying through the war, or you the woman with the kids, seeing your husband go to war, your children go to war, or you the man with the faith that's actually out there on the front line, possibly can get put to death. Because Simon, he lost all his brothers. He lost his father to the battle too. But guess what? He had kids, and his children furthered the battle, which we're going to read. So ladies, y'all ready for y'all kids to go to war? Are you raising them for war? Because the children of Israel, we consider the army. Ain't nobody else fighting for us. And they had children, they had babies doing war. So don't be afraid to have them babies, y'all. So let's get at it. Let's see who his brothers was. Verse 52 and yeah.
Finish 52.
Yeah, finish 52.
He ordained also that that day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was. And there he dwelt himself with his company.
So Simon, he took Israel back. He made this tower stronger. We're going to get into it. And he dwelt there. He didn't say, oh, y'all stay over here and I'm going to go over here. He stayed with his people as a warrior, as a fighter. Guess what he was? Anybody know his position amongst Israel besides a fighter?
Counselor.
Yeah, he was a counselor, but what else? He was a high priest. He wasn't just a regular priest. He was a high priest. They tell you today in the bootleg church, lay it down. But they was out there putting it down, fighting for the nation, taking things back that belonged to them. Yep, so let's go to 1 Maccabees 2. I want 1 through 5. 1 Maccabees 2, 1 through 5. So we're going to see who his family was. We're going to see who his father was, because y'all seen somebody's father, right? If they was upright man, macho, seemed like he had it going on. Y'all like this father, right? Y'all like that person because of their father attitude. So, man, we got to give it up to our forefathers and their fathers, the way they raised their children, right? So let's go ahead and read that.
1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias,
Mattathias. Who was he?
the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the sons of Joarib.
So he was a priest. Mattathias was a priest. All his sons became high priests as well. But go ahead.
From Jerusalem, and dwelt in Modin. And he had 5 sons.
Modin was a city in Jerusalem. But go ahead.
Johanan, called Cadiz.
So now he's telling you who his sons were. These are the Maccabees. If you don't know it, now you know. These are the Maccabees right here. Go ahead.
Simon, called Thassi. Judas, who was called Maccabees. Eleazar, called Avaron. And Jonathan, whose surname was Aphis.
So these are our forefathers that we're going to give praise and honor to tonight for the things that they did. So I got a question, y'all. What did they stand for? Do y'all know? The laws and the commandments. Let's go to verse 19 through 22. Same chapter, verse 19 and 22.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away every one from his religion of their fathers, the religion of their fathers.
We're going to see why Mattathias answered this, but go ahead, keep going.
And give consent to his commandments. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
So their father was like, nah, we ain't having that. We going to follow our forefathers' commandments. We're going to walk in the statutes of the Most High. But go ahead.
Most High forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances.
So should we be doing that? No. We should be forbidden at the Most High, right? That we don't forsake his law and his ordinance. But go ahead.
We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion either on the right hand or the left.
So they was like, man, we ain't following no garbage. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and 6.
Look at Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Which we're going to find out. None of Mattathias' sons departed from the laws, the statutes, and the covenant through all that they went through. So let's go back there. Let's go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and read verse 23. Because we're going to see what type of rider their father was.
1 Maccabees chapter 2.
Verse 23.
Verse 23. Now when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin.
So we had wicked Israelites that would profane the Sabbath, that would do things that were abominable to the Most High and our laws, our statutes, and our covenant, which we have today. Oh, you don't have to keep the Sabbath. You don't have to keep Passover. You don't have to keep the Lord's feast. I got my own relationship. Not just bootleg Christians tell you that, but you got Israelites that know the faith, that know the truth, would tell you this very same thing. So, and here you have one in the Bible, in our holy scripts, who was getting ready to profane the holy temple. And we're going to see what happened. Go ahead.
According to the king's commandment, which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
He was ready, like, y'all seen, what's that dude, DMX? Y'all seen his bark, his growl? He was ready, like, but go ahead.
And his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to the judgment.
Have y'all ever seen somebody so mad that they couldn't hold it in? Like you knew something was wrong when they walked in? Or you just felt their energy like, dang, who was that? But he couldn't hold it back, but go ahead.
Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
So he slew this wicked Israelite on the altar that was getting ready to profane and just do a vile thing in the holy temple. So he killed him. Go ahead.
Also, the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time.
So he killed his commissioner too. Y'all know how you always got that little ambassador that come and tell you, hey man, I need this from you, I need that from you, and I need y'all to keep my laws. He killed him too. Like, man, you don't get no pass either. If I'm going to kill my own wicked person, I'm definitely going to get you because you a heathen. But go ahead.
And the altar he pulled down. Mm-hmm. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High.
Wait, no, he just barely kept the law.
Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High, like as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salom.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant.
Wait, hold up. Them that halfway keep the covenant?
Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintain the covenant.
He said, whoso is ever zealous for the law, like you ready to keep it and you're going to maintain it. Not the ones that's halfway, oh man, we can't keep it, I'm under grace. I don't got to do that. He said the ones that's what?
Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me.
So he didn't want anybody following him. Do we want anybody following us? No. That's going to be halfway, 1 foot in, 1 foot out? No, we want those that's going to be zealous and going to maintain the keeping of the covenant that the Most High made with us. Because we trying to get out of hell, right? But we'll stay in hell if we continue with those who don't want to keep this covenant. Them ones that straggling the fence, bringing all them evil spirits in with them. Right? So we can't have that, but go ahead.
So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there. So
people had to come find them. It's like, man, they want justice and judgment. We're going to follow them. Because they wasn't telling everybody their location. But let's go to First Maccabees. We're going to get a little history on why they fled. It's First Maccabees chapter 1. 1:1.
First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chedum, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
So here you have a wicked Edomite making war with every nation. They came to our temple and took it, profaned it, and you had also a wicked Israelite. That's why Mattathias slew a man, because he was zealous for the law and wanted to maintain the covenant that the Most High made with us. But go ahead.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
So when he died from this STD, he was like, man, I'm about to die. Here, take my kingdom. He appointed to 4 men. Go ahead.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
So you had these wicked Edomites just breaking off like leeches, like, man, we're going to continue this battle. We're going to continue our wickedness, and we're going to continue to rule over the other nations. But go ahead.
In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
So you had wicked, scary Israelites that would do the same thing. Don't we got that today? So, man, the scripture tells you to prove a friend. You want friends? Prove them. Right? But go ahead.
For since we have departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well.
So let me ask y'all this. How y'all feel now that y'all are in the truth and y'all hanging around Israelites and y'all keeping the Most High's covenant and y'all party and feast with the Most High? How do y'all feel? Amazing. But these wicked Israelites here didn't feel that way. They say, since we departed from them, we have much sorrow. I ain't got a lot, but I have fun when I'm around y'all. I always want to hit the dirt bikes. This Jake always want to do music in the studio. When I'm here, I'm feasting with my brethren. I loved it when the Jakes came over. Sha'ah, Rasha, man, they came to the house. Quatan, everybody, man, just chilling in the backyard. I had fun watching y'all eat. So even though some Jakes like, man, that Jake food salty this time. Hey, Jake's his own one, so they was like, add a little more salt. Rasha was teasing me. He was like, every seasoning it got salt. But guess what? We the salt of the earth, man. I'm gonna have fun with my people. But they ate it even though it was a little salty. But go ahead, let's go ahead. Oh, man.
This and that?
The last time I cooked, even, man, I ain't had that Jake to the house in a minute and chill. You're tired, man. It was a beautiful thing. Even Jake's is over there wrestling. Yeah, we're going to bring some warriors out. But go ahead.
Verse 13, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
Man, they were sold to do wickedness. But go ahead.
Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy. And he made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. So here
you have Edomites. They were fighting each other for power. This is how greedy they were. They didn't just want their land. They wanted everybody else's land. And they was even willing to fight their own brothers for it, too. But go ahead.
Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt and took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, and he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
Wait, did he go up against who?
Went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So here you have these wicked Edomites fighting the children of Israel. Ain't they fighting y'all today? Yeah. Through their policies, through they stand your ground laws, through their food poisoning that they put out, through the air, chemtrails. They tell you put on a mask for COVID-19 and social distancing, beating our people up. Mind you, they putting poison out through these chemtrails. Did they say put a mask on?
Nope.
Nah. They go outside and chill under our chemtrails. Let us poison you all day. But now they talking about it's a pandemic. But y'all the one killing us, but go ahead.
And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt, and he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof.
So our sanctuary was the holy place, right? Where the high priest would go and they would pray, and the Most High would come down in a cloud of fire, right? Or a cloud of smoke, right? They did what to it up? Verse 21.
Verse 21, and he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof.
So they took away our menorah, right? That the children of Israel, when we rededicated to the Most High, right? How many days did it stay lit? Feast of Lights, 8 days, right? But go ahead.
He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also we took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken them all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were.
Let's go to 41. Let's speed it up.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
So they be talking about New World Order, right? When did the New World Order start? Back then, right here, 333 BC. That was the New World Order. But go ahead.
And everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Are
Yea,
y'all going to leave y'all laws? Nope, but go ahead.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
So many of our people do. They go and consent to these wicked Edomites' religion. They celebrated Easter, which was Ishtar, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the wickedness of Egypt, Rome, right? But go ahead.
And Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, and they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Don't they make it hard for the little boys today to get circumcised on the 8th day? You damn near got to fight with the doctors. Man, I need my son circumcised on the 8th day. They be like, no, trying to make your appointment days after. Like, no, I want it on the 8th day. But what they try to give you the vitamin K, right? Knowing that your boy on the 8th day, his body is going to produce that. And he don't need those shots. But they'll hold you in the hospital an extra day because you refuse their wicked medicine, right? But go ahead.
Verse 49, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
So they want us to forget our laws. This is why our forefathers were fighting to keep the laws. But go ahead.
And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Y'all ready to die? In righteousness, right? But everybody don't have to die. Pray, fast, keep the Most High's covenant. Do what you got to do. Raise up your kids righteously. Because the scripture tell you that everybody ain't going to see death. So with that, let's go back to 1 Maccabees chapter 2. And I want to read verse 29. 1 Maccabees 2 and 29.
1 Maccabees 2, verse 29. Then many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there, both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them.
So now you see why Mattathias slew that man, right? Because our forefathers that were wicked started profaning the holy temple. And he was like, man, these men that want to keep the covenant, come with me. So he slew a man on the altar. But go ahead.
Now when it was told the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret places in the wilderness, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. Come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
So they didn't have no mercy on our forefathers. Knowing that they wasn't going to fight them because it was a Sabbath, they killed them with all speed, gave them the battle. But go ahead.
Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die, all in our innocency. Heaven and earth shall testify for us, that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people.
Man, that's wicked, right? Ain't they doing that to us today? What's the Aubrey? I'll be butchering his name, man. Ahmad Arbery, right? He recently got killed just jogging. Come to find out, the guy who was filming it was their friend. He probably called him and said, hey, man, we got one. they'll still be free had he not put that tape out, though. He thought he was going to clear his friend's name by putting the tape out, which helped incriminate him, which all praise to the Most High. Because the scripture says that the earth shall help the woman, right? Which it helped us, man. Hopefully we get justice for that brother. But go ahead.
But they said, we will not, verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die all in our innocency. Heaven and earth shall testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people. Now when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, they mourned for them right sore. And one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
So our forefathers, Mattathias and his friends, his buddies, like, man, we got to fight. Or we just going to die? So I ask once again, what y'all going to do? That's right. Go ahead. Finish reading.
Then, for verse 41.
41.
At that time thereof they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. Mm-hmm. Then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Also all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were a stay unto them.
So when you're doing righteous things for the law, you would have mighty men come and join themselves to you. So all praises for the mighty men that has joined themselves to True Nation Israelite congregation in the following. In the following of the Most High and Yahweh Shai. Because we're not bringing men to us, but we're bringing men, hopefully, to gain their salvation in the kingdom. But go ahead.
Verse 42. No, I'm on 44 now. So they joined their forces, and smote sinful men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly.
So they kept the law. They cleansed up the sanctuary, and they cleansed the children by circumcising them. Because that's a covenant for us forever, right? So if you're a man in Israel, go get circumcised. Because that's a covenant between us and the Most High. But go ahead.
You know what's interesting? They just lost 1,000. And once the valiant men of Israel came together, who were the first ones they went after? We just read it. Our own. The wicked, unrighteous, sellout Uncle Toms had to go first, because you couldn't have no weeds amongst, the righteous roots. Mm-hmm. They had to be gone. They said, we just lost 1,000. That's okay. But we still got a few hundred more that's wicked as hell that can't come along with us. Yep. So we got to take them out first. Then we'll go get the heathen. That's how stone cold these men were. They was like, you know what? If we're going to clean the house, we clean the house. If we're going to get it right, we're going to get it right. And that's how they had to move. They was like, we're not going to mess around with this. Yep. We got to take out the times. And it said in their anger and the wicked men in the wrath. If we don't have to go there, but 2 Maccabees 6 tells you that the Sabbath is the highest of all the holy days. And that's the reason why the heathen knew how sacred we held the Sabbath, and how it affected us as a people, in that one chance every week for us to connect with the Most High, to recharge so that we can get our spirits back in order. 6 days, he said, you do all your labors and all that. 7th day, come recharge and get right with me. If you can cut that off, it's over. We don't have any connection with the Most High no more. So the heathen said that worship day they have where they can get right with no, shut it down. That's why they, even during history, now they changed it. It's Sunday now. Any way they can to defile it, any way that they can keep us from not keeping the Sabbath holy and doing it correctly and keeping it, they're always at an advantage. So you see, our people was like, you know what, even if we got to die, to keep the Sabbath alive and well for our ancestors' legacies and for our children to be able to keep this. We have to. They was at the point where they were like, we don't even fight on the Sabbath. All we trying to get in is in the spirit.
Yep.
They rather get put to death. And the Judas and them was like, no, this ain't wise. Because at the end of the day, our honor is not going to be able to keep the law. We all going to be gone. So we have to stand up and do what's right on the Sabbath and fight to defend the laws.
That's right.
It said, man, the women and children, they was going too. So there wasn't no mercy for the women. Wasn't no mercy for the children. The heathen don't give a damn. And you can see him now. Who's he targeting now? You see the pedophilia running wild, constantly wants his hands on the kids. First ones he wants to vaccinate, he wants the kids. All of the education that he puts on there, from the cartoons to the movies to the books to the transgender, what is it, the tranny story times when they in there reading the books in the libraries to them, teaching them how to twerk and everything. They after the kids, so that let you know, legacy, they don't give a damn. They want everything. And we have to stand up for what's right in our people.
That's right. Yep. And 1 Peter 4:17 said judgment going to start at the house of the Lord first. So our brothers had to start at the house of the Lord, the clean house.
Right.
Yep. But go ahead.
Verse 45, then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. They pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. So they recovered the law out of the hand of all of the Gentiles and out of the hand of kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. Now when the time drew near that Mattathias should die, he said unto his sons, now hath pride and rebuke gotten strength, and the time of destruction and the wrath of indignation. Now therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law and give your lives.
Wait, hold up. He said be punks for the law?
Be zealous for the law.
He said be zealous for it. Stand up for it. Do what's right for the law. Go ahead.
Now therefore, my sons, be zealous for the law and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Call to remembrance what acts our fathers did in their time. So shall ye receive great honor and an everlasting name.
Ain't we doing that right now? Calling to honors what our forefathers did? We reading about them right now. Go ahead.
Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was imputed unto him for righteousness? Joseph, in the time of his distress, kept the commandment and was made Lord of Egypt. Phinehas, our father, in being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. Jesus, for fulfilling the word, was made a judge in Israel. Caleb, for bearing witness before the congregation, received the heritage of the land. David, for being merciful, possessed the throne of an everlasting kingdom. Elias, for being zealous and fervent for the law, was taken up into heaven. Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael, by believing, were saved out of the flame. Daniel, for his innocency, was delivered from the mouth of lions. And thus consider ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome. For not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms.
So he said, fear not the words of a sinful man. Let's go to a place right quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 22 and Jeremiah 30 and verse 10.
Deuteronomy
18 verse 22.
chapter 18 and verse 22.
Go ahead, read it.
When the prophet speaketh in the name of the Yahweh, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yahweh hath not spoken.
So you have wicked men of Israel that speak things, right? That's not true. Go ahead. Let's see what he said about it.
But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him.
He said, don't be afraid of no wicked man. Because some brothers are afraid of the wicked people. But go. Let's get this next one. Jeremiah 30 and 10.
Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 10. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
So we ain't got to fear nobody, right? Just the Most High and Yahweh Shai. But we have to keep the covenant. So let's go back to 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 62. I mean, 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 62. My bad.
I got you. 1 Maccabees 2, verse 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man, for his glory shall be dung and worms. Today he shall be lifted up, and tomorrow he shall not be found, because he is returned into his dust, and his thought is come to nothing. Wherefore, ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
Oh, hold on. He said, be boys. And show yourselves.
I lost my spot.
Verse
Wherefore,
64.
ye my sons, be valiant and show yourselves men in the behalf of the law.
He said, be men. He said, when I was a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. So on this law, we got to be serious, right? But go ahead.
Yourselves men in behalf of the law, for by it shall ye obtain glory.
Go ahead.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always. He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Maccabeus, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people.
So Judas, he was the fighter amongst the group. But we're going to also find out that Simon was also a fighter as well. He wasn't just one that was sitting back, because this is the memorial of Simon. But also in the memorial of Simon, it's a memorial of all of the sons of Mattathias, the Maccabean family. So let's go to 1 Maccabees 13 and verse 42. We'll see what type of counselor Simon was. First Maccabees 13 and 42.
First Maccabees chapter 13 and verse 42. Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts in the first year of Simon, the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews.
So Simon was a high priest. He had a well-established office and a people that he had to govern through the laws of the Most High. And now let's go to 1 Maccabees 8, I want 14 through 16. Because this was the type of counselor that Simon was.
1 Maccabees 8, verse 14. Yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby.
So this is talking about the Maccabean family and how they conducted themselves. They didn't put on no crown. They didn't wear nothing too royal to be like, oh, I'm the man, to sit at the top. How you see some jakes do? They was humble. But go ahead.
Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered.
So they set up a senate house. That's where people, like the council, goes and make law and talk about issues and situations that's going on. And they said they were doing it for the people, not for themselves. Like, hey, man, I need some money from this person over here. You know how the Bootleg Church, they go and get an honorarium and all that, $125,000 just to go speak at somebody's church? Come on now. Yeah. T.D. Jakes had that. I've been to some other pastors, churches, and they had big honorariums. And they were fleecing the people for their money. But our forefathers, they didn't fleece the people. They was for the people, and they helped the people. And we're going to see they fought for the people. So with that, let's go back to...
So what's that, like an entertainer that does a show? They going to get paid to go do a show?
They come and they speak before a church that's not their church.
Right.
They get paid for it.
So like a guest speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get paid.
And they get paid, bro. Big bucks.
So what's the difference between Snoop Dogg and...
Ain't no
all the rest of
difference.
them? Okay, all right. I just want to make sure.
It's a motivational... It's like a church motivational speaker. They go from church to church, city to city, town to town. They set up like tours. Like, I'm on a tour to do this throughout the church circuit. And they get paid to do it. The scriptures say, buy the gospel and sell it not. And they selling lies. But they getting paid from it. So with that, let's go back to 2 Maccabees 2:65.
First. You want first, right? You keep saying second. You want first?
Yeah, 1 Maccabees, chapter 2.
And behold, I know that your brother Simon is a man of counsel. Give ear unto him always.
So we just seen what type of counselor Simon was. Go ahead.
He shall be a father unto you. As for Judas Maccabeus, he hath been mighty and strong, even from his youth up. Let him be your captain, and fight the battle of the people. Take also unto you all those that observe the law, and avenge ye the wrong of your people. Recompense fully the heathen, and take heed to the commandments of the law.
Wait, hold on. He said, just sit back and do nothing?
Recompense fully the heathen.
He said, pay them back fully. Get them. But go ahead.
And take heed to the commandments of the law. So he blessed them and was gathered to his fathers. And he died in the 146th year. And his sons buried him in the sepulchres of his fathers at Modin. And all Israel made great lamentation for him.
So you see how Mattathias raised up his children, right? To be fighters, to be warriors, to be stand-up men for the law. He didn't raise them to be punks. But he raised them to be righteous and be a helpful people to their nation. So with that, let's see some of the other things. Let's see, because, man, this Maccabean family was on point. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 5:17. Because I was trying to condense it all, man, because the Maccabees, they did so much, but they was fighting throughout their whole career of being priests. They was fighting and maintaining Israel. They had a lot on their plate. What do you think brothers have a lot on their plates today doing? Trying to raise their family, trying to grow themselves, trying to grow their nation, trying to help their nation, trying to help their family. So it's a battle, it's a fight. That's why the Most High said, man, you need a helpmeet, a righteous woman. Where are my righteous women at? Raise your hand. That's going to back your husband up. That's going to have his back. Because they had wives. They had children. But it don't even talk about their wives and their children until they had to fight for them. But for them to be on point, their wives had to be on point. Because their minds couldn't go nowhere else. Because, you know, when you're in battle and you're in war and you wander off, you can get killed. And the whole thing is about them fighting for the nation. Simon, he did something valiant. He did something great. He fought for the nation and reestablished Israel. And he set up this day. But let's get some of the battles he fought in. Let's see what type of person he was. 1 Maccabees 5:17 through 23.
1 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 17. Then said Judas unto Simon his brother.
So who was the captain to go out and fight? Judas, right? Who was he talking to right here? Simon, his brother. Go ahead, read it.
Choose thee out men, and go and deliver thy brethren that are in Galilee, for I and Jonathan, my brother, will go into the country of Gilead.
Mm-hmm. Did he tell him write a contract? Because when you choosing men, you choosing warriors.
Yeah.
So what's up, my warriors? Y'all chosen, bruh. Go ahead.
So he left Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captains of the people, with the remnant of the host in Judea to keep it. Unto whom he gave commandments, saying, take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again.
So here you had two young men. He told them, man, don't make war yet, but go ahead.
Now unto Simon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee, and unto Judas 8,000 men for the country of Gilead.
So Simon was given 3,000 men. Was he going in peace? No, he wasn't. We're going to see what he did. Go ahead.
Then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen.
Wait, hold up. He said he fought many battles. How many of y'all fought many battles? No, I ain't talking about that type of. I'm like, the battles when you growing up and you got homies, you got friends, and you always got to fight. It seemed like every other day, even for no reason. But these brothers was fighting for a righteous cause. He was fighting many battles, and he was a high priest. You got the pampered pastors today, be like, oh, no, I ain't going outside. They won't even come out and street teach. But they'll be in the church collecting your bread. But these brothers, he was out there fighting. He was a humble servant. Everybody always talking about David, but these are also high priests that had to do the service of the Lord and still went out and fought. But go ahead.
And then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him.
Was he fighting his people or he was fighting heathens? He discomfited them. He was fighting heathens, people of the other nations, mainly Idumea. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 6 and 6.
First Maccabees 6, verse 6. And that Lysias, who went forth first with a great power, was driven away of the Jews, and that they were made strong by the armor and power and store of spoils, which they had gotten of the armies whom they had destroyed.
So this is Judas and Simon here fighting. They taking the spoils too. There wasn't no punks. They was fighting big battles. Now let's go to 1 Maccabees 9. Let's see what else they did in battle. 1 Maccabees 9, I want 62 through 68.
1 Maccabees 9, verse 62. Afterward, Jonathan and Simon, and they that were with him.
So now Judas had passed away, our brother. He fought in war. He passed away. But now it's talking about who? Read that again.
Afterward, Jonathan and Simon, and they that were with him.
So now it's Jonathan and Simon. Simon still got to put in work. Even though his other brother gone, he couldn't mourn too long. He got to go fight with his other brother now, side by side. So the little things, we ain't going through nothing. His father died, and his father didn't die in battle, but he died. His brother died in battle, but now he got to go fight with his other brother, knowing that he could possibly get put to death, right? But go ahead.
And they that were with him got them away to Bethbasai, which is in the wilderness, and they repaired the decays thereof and made it strong.
So while they fighting, they repairing the city too. Was that all of 68?
No, that was just 62.
All right, go ahead. All the way to 68.
Which thing when Bacchides knew, he gathered together all his host and sent word to them that were of Judea.
Bacchides is a wicked Roman general, someone that was opposed to us. But go ahead.
Which thing when Bacchides knew, he gathered together all his host and sent word to them that were of Judea. Then went he and laid siege against Bethbasai, and they fought against it a long season and made engines of war. But Jonathan left his brother Simon in the city and went forth himself into the country, and with a certain number went he forth. And he smote Odenarchus and his brethren and the children of Phasaron in their tent. And when he began to smite them and came up with his forces, Simon and his company went out of the city and burned up the engines of war.
So Simon out here fighting, he burning stuff up too. The battle don't never stop with these brothers, man. But go ahead.
And fought against Bacchides, who was discomfited by them, and they afflicted him sore. For his counsel and travail was in vain.
So he constantly fighting, even though he a priest. That's why he said he fought many battles, which we're going to see that. That's why he ordained this day to be remembered and kept. But let's go to 1 Maccabees 11. I want 65 through 74. Kind of speeding through now. But go ahead. 11 and 65 through 74.
1 Maccabees 11, verse 65. He went to meet them and left Simon his brother in the country. Then Simon encamped against Bethsura and fought against it a long season and shut it up.
Wait, Simon, he fighting in all these battles. Y'all see this, right? With Judas, Jonathan, himself. But go ahead.
But they desired to have peace with him, which he granted them, and then put them out from thence. and took the city and set a garrison in it. As for Jonathan and his hosts, they pitched at the water of Gennesar, from whence betimes in the morning they got them to the plain of Nasor. And behold, the host of strangers met them in the plain, who, having laid men in ambush for him in the mountains, came themselves over against him.
So, brothers, people, they getting ambushed and all that, but they still out there fighting. They fighting for our nation, fighting to redeem our inheritance. Go ahead.
So when they that lay in ambush rose out of their places and joined battle, all that were of Jonathan's side fled, insomuch as there was not one of them left, except Mattathias the son of Absalom and Judas the son of Calphi, the captains of the host.
So Jonathan men got taken out here, but go ahead. I want you to keep going.
Then Jonathan rent his clothes and cast earth upon his head and prayed. Afterwards, turning again to battle, he put them to flight, and so they ran away.
So
now,
so his men got killed. There's only a few of us left. What did he do? He just said, oh, man, I'm going home, bro. I'm done. I'm tired of war. I'm tired of seeing my people get killed. He girded up. He went and prayed to the Most High, got his strength back, and went right back out there. And you see how he won. Well, go ahead.
Now when his own men that were fled saw this, they turned again unto him, and with them pursued them to Cades.
So they like the captain down, but now he back up. We going back too. So because when you got a weak man and he falling out, and he's supposed to be your leader, ain't you going to fall out too? Like, dang, he just gave up. He didn't give up. Even though his men was beat, he went and prayed to the Most High, got some strength, and went right back out there. Now his men is right back behind him. But go ahead.
Even unto their own tents, and there they camped. So there were slain of the heathen that day about 3,000 men.
So had they stopped, these 3,000 heathen would not have been slain. They would have been just defeated. And their army would have been in uproar. Like, yeah, we won this battle. But Jonathan, he girded himself back up and went back out there and started fighting again. Like some of us got to do. It ain't over. Go through some little skirmishes here and there, but it ain't over. Go pray to the Most High. Get in your closet. Get right with the Most High. And get back out there. Get back in the fight. So with that, let's go to 1 Maccabees 5:20. Because y'all see, Simon was a fighter, right? He wasn't giving up. Judas was a fighter. Jonathan was a fighter. 1 Maccabees 5:20 through 22.
1 Maccabees 5, verse 20. Now when Simon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee, and unto Judas 8,000 men for the country of Gilead, then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him. And he pursued them unto the gate of Ptolemais. And there were slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils he took.
So Simon was a fighter, and he was taking spoils, getting rich at the same time. So let's go to 1 Maccabees 12. I'm on 1. 12 and 1. We almost done, y'all, because we're going to get into the feast and everything now. But we're going to hear 1 Maccabees 12 and 1 to show how Simon fought beside his brother Jonathan at this point.
Verse 1. Now when Jonathan saw that the time served him, he chose certain men and sent them to Rome for to confirm and renew the friendship that they had had with them. He sent letters also to the Lacedaemonians and to other places for the same purpose. So they went unto Rome and entered into the Senate and said, Jonathan, the high priest, and the people of the Jews sent us unto you.
So let me expound on this point, because Judas, he made a league with some of the other folks, and he made peace with them. So this is what Jonathan, he was reestablishing this when he came into power after Judas. But go ahead.
So they went unto Rome and entered into the Senate and said, Jonathan the high priest and the people of the Jews sent us unto you, to the end ye should renew the friendship which ye had with them, and league as in former time. Upon this the Romans gave them letters unto the governors of every place, that they should bring them into the land of Judea peaceably. And this is the copy of the letters which Jonathan wrote to the Lacedaemonians.
So the Lacedaemonians, they were brothers to the children of Israel. But go ahead.
Jonathan, the high priest, and the elders of the nation, and the priests and the other people of the Jews unto the Lacedaemonians. Their brethren send greeting. There were letters sent in times past unto Onias the high priest from Darius, who reigned then among you, to signify that ye are our brethren, as the copy here underwritten does specify.
So here's the letter to show that they were brethren. But go ahead.
At which time Onias entreated the ambassador that was sent honorably and received the letters wherein declaration was made of the league and friendship. Therefore we also, albeit we need none of these things, for that we have the holy books of Scripture in our hands to comfort us. We have nevertheless attempted to send unto you for the renewing of brotherhood and friendship, lest we should become strangers unto you altogether. For there is a long time past since ye sent unto us.
Hold on. What book did they have to comfort them? The Holy Scriptures. That's our comforter. It's already sent. It's here. But go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 11, we therefore at all times without ceasing, both in our feasts and other convenient days, do remember you in the sacrifices which we offer, and in our prayers, as reason is, and as it becometh us to think upon our brethren. And we are right glad of your honor. As for ourselves, we have had great troubles and wars on every side, for as much as the kings that are round about us have fought against us. Howbeit, we would not be troublesome unto you, nor to others of our confederates and friends in these wars. For we have help from heaven that succoureth us, so as we are delivered from our enemies, and our enemies are brought under foot. For this cause we chose Numenius, the son of Antiochus, and Antipater, the son of Jason, and sent them unto the Romans, to renew the enmity that we had with them and the former league.
Amenity is just friendship. That's what it means. So they renewed the friendship they had with them. So it won't be no bad blood between them. Because, man, I want to do a series on this book of Maccabees called The Wars of Maccabees, because it's a lot. So trying to bridge this and just give y'all some of the battles and what they went through, it's a whole lot. But go ahead.
We commanded them also to go unto you and to salute you and to deliver you our letters concerning the renewing of our brotherhood. Wherefore now ye shall do well to give us an answer thereto. And this is the copy of the letters which Onarius sent. Arius, son of the Lacedaemonians, to Onias the high priest, greeting. It is found in writing that the Lacedaemonians and Jews are brethren.
So there you go. It's found in writing that they were brethren. Because wasn't the children of Israel scattered during this time?
Yep.
All over. And this was in Rome. But go ahead.
And they are of the stock of Abraham.
They are the stock of Abraham. So that the 12-tribe chart is trash, right? But go ahead.
Now therefore, since this has come to our knowledge, ye shall do well to write unto us of your prosperity. We do write back again to you that your cattle and goods are ours, and ours are yours. We do command, therefore, our ambassadors to make report unto you on this wise. Now when Jonathan heard that Demetrius' princes were come to fight against him with a greater host than afore, he removed from Jerusalem and met them in the land of Amathus.
So through this council, he's setting up a meeting, making peace with his brethren. Then you have Demetrius, he want to fight. So Jonathan got to go back out to war. So they didn't have a lot of time to do a whole lot of things, right? They didn't have time to kick back, chill, have parties. They had to take care of matters of council and go fight. But go ahead.
For he gave them no respite to enter his country. He sent spies also unto their tents, who came again and told him that they were appointed to come upon them in the night season. Wherefore, so soon as the sun was down, Jonathan commanded his men to watch and to be in arms, that all that night long they might be ready to fight. Also he sent forth sentinels round
so the
about.
men had to be ready to fight all night, waiting. Have any of y'all ever been like, y'all been through something in the world and y'all had to stay up all night because you didn't know what this person was going to do? Imagine that feeling, bro. Like you knowing you got to go to war and you can get put to death. They was not at ease in their own country, but they was fighting. letting the heathens have it. But go ahead.
But when the adversaries heard that Jonathan and his men were ready for battle, they feared and trembled in their hearts, and they kindled fires in their camp. Howbeit, Jonathan and his company knew it not till the morning.
So when they know that you ain't no punk and you ain't gonna back down, they get scared. You know how gangbangers always say, oh man, I smell fear in that punk fool. That's why I didn't like him. The other nations, they feel that too. They know who's a coward and who's not when you out there in them streets. They know who with the business and who not. They say that, oh man, that's the loudest one talking. He the first one to get knocked out. He running his mouth. He ain't gonna do nothing. He gonna go get such and such. But was they running their mouth? No, they was ready for battle. But go ahead.
For they saw the lights burning. Then Jonathan pursued after them, but overtook them not, for they were gone over the river
So they saw the lights burning and they chased them. This was at nighttime. How many of y'all gonna go creep through a field at nighttime and go fight? Jake's be scared to walk down the street at night. Man, somebody pop out. It might be a dog right there. Go ahead.
Wherefore Jonathan turned to the Arabians, who were called Zebadians, and smote them and took their spoils.
Wait, he fighting the Arabians too, huh?
Okay.
But go ahead.
And removing thence, he came to Damascus, and so passed through all the country. Simon also went forth and passed through the country unto Ascalon, and the holds there adjoining, from whence he turned aside to Joppa and won it. For he had heard that they would deliver the hold unto them that took Demetrius' part, wherefore he set a garrison there to keep it. Mm-hmm. After this came Jonathan home again, and calling the elders of the people together, he consulted with them about building strongholds in Judea, and making the walls of Jerusalem higher, and raising a great mount between the tower and the city, for to separate it from the city, that so it might be alone, that men...
So Jonathan out there fighting, and then he come after the fight. He strategizing how we going to build up the walls of Jerusalem, of our city, to fortify it, so the enemies can't come in. Wasn't no rest for these brothers, man, but go ahead.
The men might neither sell nor buy in it. Upon this they came together to build up the city, for as much as part of the wall toward the brook on the east side was fallen down, and they repaired that which was called Caphanetha. Simon also set up Adida in Cephala, and made it strong with gates and bars. Now Tryphon went about to get the kingdom of Asia, and to kill Antiochus the king, that he might set the crown upon his own head.
So Tryphon was another wicked Edomite. But go ahead.
Howbeit, he was afraid that Jonathan would not suffer him, and that he would fight against him. Wherefore he sought a way how to take Jonathan, that he might kill him. So he removed and came to Bethsan. Then Jonathan went out to meet him with 40,000 men chosen for the battle, and came to Bethsan. Now when Tryphon saw that Jonathan came with so great a force, he durst not stretch his hand against him, but received him honorably, and commended him unto all his friends, and gave him gifts, and commanded his men of war to be as obedient unto him as to himself. Unto Jonathan also he said, why hast thou put all this people to so great trouble?
So let me ask y'all this. Y'all see Tryphon being slick. Are we supposed to trust our enemies? No. I'm going to show y'all why. That's why I had him read this whole chapter. Because Tryphon was wicked, he was slick, and he was conniving. Psalms 83, it said they bring up crafty counsel against us, right? Yep. Crafty counsel, man. Crafty counsel. But go ahead.
Unto Jonathan he said, why hast thou put all this people to so great trouble, seeing there is no war betwixt us? Therefore send them now home again, and choose a few men to wait on thee, and come thou with me to Ptolemais, for I will give it thee, and the rest of the strongholds and forces, and all that have any charge. As for me, I will return and depart, for this is the cause of my coming. So Jonathan, believing him, did as he bade him, and sent away a host, who went into the land of Judea. And with himself he retained but 3,000 men, of whom he sent 2,000 into Galilee, and 1,000 went with him. Now as soon as Jonathan entered into Ptolemais, they of Ptolemais shut the gates and took him, and all them that came with him they slew with the sword.
See? Can't trust him. I ain't supposed to trust him. But go ahead.
Then sent Tryphon and host of footmen and horsemen into Galilee, and into the great plain to destroy all Jonathan's company. But when they knew that Jonathan and they that were with him were taken and slain, they encouraged one another and went close together, prepared to fight. They therefore that followed upon them, perceiving that they were ready to fight for their lives, turned back again. Whereupon they all came into the land of Judea peaceably, and there they bewailed Jonathan and them that were with him, and they were sore afraid. Wherefore all Israel made great lamentation. Then all the heathen that were round about them sought to destroy them, for said they that they have no captain, nor any to help them. Now therefore let us make war upon them and take away their memorial from among men.
But y'all see this mistake Jonathan made by trusting our enemies? It made the men weak as well when he got put to death, because they was like, ain't nobody else. But they forgot about Simon, because Simon was there the whole time. Through all the wars, through all the fights, through all the battles, he was putting in work. But go ahead.
You want chapter 13?
Yeah, 13.
Now when Simon heard Tryphon had gathered together a great host to invade the land of Judea and destroy it, and saw that the people was in great trembling and fear, he went up to Jerusalem and gathered the people together, and gave them exhortation, saying, Ye yourselves know what great things I and my brethren and my father's house have done for the laws and the sanctuary, the battles also and troubles which we have seen.
Who told him to do this? See if y'all was listening, paying attention. Who told him to do this? Who told Simon to speak these words? Mattathias, his father. He said, exhort him. Let him know what's going on. Encourage him. But go ahead.
By reason whereof, all my brethren are slain for Israel's sake, and I am left alone. Now therefore, be it far from me that I should spare mine own life in any time of trouble, for I am no better than my brethren.
So he said, I ain't going to spare my life. I'm no better than my brothers. I got to fight too. Hold that. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 3, 19 and 20. Because he was a strong man. He was a brave man. He fought through all the BS. Through all the captivities. He fought. But go ahead.
1 Maccabees 3:19. For the victory of battle standeth not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven. They come against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us, and our wives and children to spoil us. But we fight for our lives and our laws.
See, he was ready to fight for his lives and his laws. For the nation of Israel. So let's go back there. 1 Maccabees 13.
Verse 6. Doubtless I will avenge my nation and the sanctuary and our wives and our children.
He said, no doubt. Make no mistake. I'm going to avenge my nation, right? But go ahead.
For all the heathen are gathered to destroy us of very malice. Now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived. And they answered with a loud voice, saying, Thou shalt be leader instead of Judas and Jonathan thy brother.
See, they knew his brothers were killed. Now they like, you going to be our leader now. You the next man up. Go ahead.
Fight thou our battles, and whatsoever thou commandest us, that will we do.
Did they tell him just pray for the battles?
Fight thou our battles.
So the people was like, fight our battles, which he did. Go ahead.
And whatsoever thou commanded us, that will we do. So then he gathered together all the men of war and made haste to finish the walls of Jerusalem, and he fortified it round about. Also we sent Jonathan the son of Absalom, and with him a great power to Joppa, who casting out them that were therein remained therein it. So Tryphon removed from Ptolemais with a great power to invade the land of Judea, and Jonathan was with him in war. But Simon pitched his tents at Adida over against the plain. Now when Tryphon knew that Simon was risen up instead of his brother Jonathan, he meant to join battle with him. He sent messengers unto him, saying, Whereas we have Jonathan thy brother in hold, it is for money that he is owing unto the king's treasure concerning the business that was committed to him, unto him. Wherefore now send 100 talents of silver, and 2 of his sons for hostages, that when he is at liberty he may not revolt from us, and he will let him go. Hereupon Simon, albeit he perceived that they spake deceitfully unto him, yet sent he the money and the children, lest peradventure he should procure to himself great hatred of the people.
So Jonathan was not dead, but he was captured in war. But here you have a great counselor, a man of Israel, which was Simon, also a great fighter in Israel. He's like, man, I got to do this for my brother, and I got to do this for the people. So was he afraid to do it? No, he wasn't. He sent the money and he sent his children, knowing possibly that they could get killed, or he could possibly get them back. But this is how he had to do in war. But go ahead.
Who might have said, because I sent him not the money and the children thereof, therefore is Jonathan dead. And he sent them the children and the 100 talents. Howbeit, Tryphon dissembled. Neither would he let Jonathan go. And after this came Tryphon to invade the land and destroy it, going round about by the way that leadeth unto Adora. But Simon and his host marched against him in every place wheresoever he went. Now they that were in the tower sent messengers unto Tryphon, to the end that he should hasten his coming unto them by the wilderness and send them victuals. Wherefore Tryphon made ready all his horsemen to come that night, but there fell a very great snow, by reason whereof he came not. So he departed and came into the country of Galaad. And when he came near to Bascamah, he slew Jonathan, who was buried there. Afterward Tryphon returned and went into his own land. Then sent Simon and took the bones of Jonathan his brother and buried them in Modin, the city of his fathers. And all Israel made great lamentation for him and bewailed him many days. Simon also built a monument upon the sepulchre of his father and his brethren, and raised it aloft to the site, with hewn stone behind and before.
So Simon was doing a whole lot, right? Now y'all see why he ordained this day to be kept. But go ahead, we're gonna see why.
Moreover, he set up 7 pyramids, one against another, for his father and his mother and his 4 brethren. And in these he made cunning devices, about the which he set up great pillars. And upon the pillars he made all their armor for a perpetual memory. And by the armor ships carved, that they might be seen of all that sail on the sea.
Y'all see everything that his family was going through, that he went through, all the death in his family, and he still had to fight? He still had to go out and encourage the people? Y'all know the Most High was on his side, right? Because he didn't go do nothing stupid. He didn't go saying like, man, I'm done. Let me go pop a pill and chill with the smokers over here, with the addicts over here, with the ungodly over here. No, he continued in the battle, going through all of this. But go ahead.
This is the sepulchre which he made at Modin, and it standeth yet unto this day. Now Tryphon dealt deceitfully with the young king Antiochus and slew him. And he reigned in his stead and crowned himself king of Asia, and brought a great calamity upon the land. Then Simon built up the strongholds in Judea, and fenced them about with high towers and great walls and gates and bars, and laid up victuals therein. Moreover, Simon chose men and sent to King Demetrius, to the end he should give the land in immunity, because all that Tryphon did was to spoil. Unto whom King Demetrius answered and wrote after this manner: King Demetrius, unto Simon the high priest and friend of kings, as also unto the elders and nation of the Jews, sendeth greeting. The golden crown and the scarlet robe, which ye sent unto us, we have received, and we are ready to make a steadfast peace with you. Yea, and to write unto our officers to confirm the immunities which we have granted. And whatsoever covenants we have made with you shall stand, and the strongholds which ye have builded shall be your own. As for any oversight or fault committed unto this day, we forgive it, and the crown tax also, which ye owe us. And if there were any other tribute paid in Jerusalem, it shall no more be paid.
See what Simon was doing? Everything that he was fighting for, he was like, we ain't got to pay no more taxes to y'all. Y'all not going to come over here and take our stuff no more. Everything is done. He disannulled all false contracts. Wouldn't y'all like to not pay taxes no more? He was like, man, ain't no tribute going out to y'all no more. We fighting in these battles. But y'all see what they went through? Because it's important. Like, just taxes alone, you get taxed when you work. Before you even get your check, you get taxed. You get taxed on everything you buy, and you even get taxed for saving your money in a what's that, a Roth account or IRA, right? That's straight wickedness. You're getting taxed for saving money that you already been taxed on that you made. Man, he was like, ain't no more of that happening, but go ahead.
Verse 40, and look who are meet among you to be in our court. Let them be enrolled, and let there be peace betwixt us. Thus the yoke of the heathen was taken away from Israel in the 170th year. Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts in the first year of Simon the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews. In those days Simon camped against Gaza and besieged it round about. He made also an engine of war and set it by the city and battered a certain tower and took it.
Who know where Gaza is? Yeah, it's in Jerusalem. Even Ptolemy. That's a little city in Israel where the heathens were encamped about. So a lot of these places was on our land that we were fighting to get back. But go ahead.
And they that were in the engine leaped into the city, whereupon there was a great uproar in the city, insomuch as the people of the city rent their clothes and climbed upon the walls with their wives and children and cried with a loud voice, beseeching Simon to grant them peace. And they said,
y'all heard about the Trojan horse, right? That's what it probably was, something like that. Our forefathers, they went in the city in an engine, which is probably a Trojan horse or something, got into the city, and then leaping up on the walls, kicking the people up out of our land. But go ahead.
And they said, deal not with us according to our wickedness, but according to thy mercy. So Simon was appeased toward them and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entered into it with songs and thanksgiving. Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it and placed such men there as would keep the law, and made it stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place for himself. They also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight that they could neither come forth nor go into the country, nor buy nor sell, wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals.
Y'all see how cold Simon was? He starved them out. Like, man, y'all in my city, I'm not going to let no food come in, no food go out, no water or anything. But he starved them out to get them out of this stronghold that they were in. But go ahead.
And a great number of them perished through famine. Then cried they to Simon, beseeching him to be at one with them, which thing he granted them. And when he had put them out from thence, he cleansed the tower from pollutions, and entered into it the 23rd day of the second month, in the 171st year, with thanksgiving and branches of palm trees, and with harps and cymbals, and with viols and hymns and songs, because there was destroyed a great enemy out of Israel.
All praise to the Most High. We recognizing the work, the fight, the energy that our forefathers had to destroy their enemies and to keep the Most High God's law, to continue in the covenant and righteousness, y'all. This is what the memorial of Simon is about, taking back what's ours and cleansing it and living righteous and fighting for our people, fighting for our nation. That's what it's about. But go ahead and finish reading it.
He ordained also that that day should be kept every year with gladness.
Ain't y'all glad? Y'all happy? All praise to the Most High for our brothers Simon, Jonathan, Mattathias, and all the other great men of Israel. Even y'all today that's still living. All praise to the Most High for y'all. Because y'all doing his work. Y'all putting in work. Go ahead.
He ordained also that that day should be kept every year with gladness. Moreover, the hill of the temple that was by the tower he made stronger than it was, and there he dwelt himself with his company. And when Simon saw that John his son was a valiant man, he made him captain of all the hosts, and he dwelt in Gazarah. So Simon's sons, they had to continue to fight. But I want to get another a memorial of another brother. 1 Maccabees 3, I want 1 through 7. Because this talks about the memorial of Judas. But all praises, this is the things that went down and the things that our forefathers had to fight through and go through. 1 Maccabees 3, 1 through 7. Then his son Judas, called Maccabees, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren helped him, and so did all they that held with his father. So all the brothers, the children of the Maccabean family, were all here fighting together with Judas after the passing of Mattathias. Go ahead. And they fought with cheerfulness the battle of Israel. So we
the battle of who?
The battle of Israel.
The battle of black?
Israel.
The battle of the hood?
Israel. The
battle of Israel. Yasha Allah, the Prince of Power. They were fighting for us. our existence. Because had our forefathers laid down like the other ones did that got put to death, we wouldn't be here today. All of Israel would be wiped out because we want to fight on the Sabbath. So this reminds you that we have to fight, whether the Sabbath or not the Sabbath. To stay alive, we have to fight to keep our laws, our statutes, and our covenant, right? But go ahead.
So he got his people great honor and put on a breastplate as a giant and girt his warlike harness about him.
It said he got himself great honor, right?
Okay.
He got himself great honor, right?
So he got his people great honor.
He got y'all great honor. It wasn't just about himself. It was about the nation. But go ahead.
And put on a breastplate as a giant and girt his warlike harness about him. And he made battles protecting the host with his sword. Mm-hmm. In his axe, he was like a lion, and like a lion's whelp roaring for his prey. Mm-hmm. For he pursued the wicked and sought him out and burned up those that vexed his people.
Man, he burnt our enemies up. He pursued the wicked as well, killing them. But go ahead.
Wherefore the wicked shrunk for fear of him, and all the workers of iniquity were troubled, because salvation prospered in his hand.
Don't y'all want salvation to prosper in your hand? Shouldn't the wicked fear and tremble when you're around? Go ahead.
He grieved also many kings and made Jacob glad with his axe, and his memorial is blessed forever.
That's right. All praise to the Most High for the feast and the memorial assignment. I got anything? So what y'all think about our brothers, y'all? That's right, man. They stayed fighting. They stayed on the front line. They fought for the nation. They didn't fight for themselves. They fought for the glory of the people. So all praise to the Most High. We're going to pray it out. Hopefully, shoot, can some of y'all sing, women? Ladies, sing? Get that praise party going. What about y'all fellas? We got some tenors in here, some bass, right? Man. So let's make it a festival and make it with gladness. Let's not just eat. Let's praise the Most High together too, y'all.